A very good day to you. Welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jeriel Kabir. I'm glad that you're joining us for our political conversations. Conversations that I say are simple, truthful, and biased. Prof puts them in a hard-hitting way. How are you doing today?
Good.
What a week it has been.
Wonderful. And asking people, please subscribe. We want to get 100,000. Subscribe. If you have not subscribed, do subscribe.
We need 400 now, 400 to go to get to 100,000. Please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't yet. It doesn't come automatically. You know, there are people who watch us on TV and they watch us every day, and so they think they are part of our family.
Yes.
You have to click the red button to become part of the family.
And it costs you nothing. It's absolutely free.
But if you want to help us, you can use the join button. And now that is a different family for those people that want to join this channel and support us. But today's conversation is about everything that has happened this week, Prof. We started with the debate. We went to Rafael Tuju's damning allegations. And then we had Rigathi Gachagua being told to return 202 million towards his side. But let's start with TIFA polls that are placing Raila Odinga on the lead once again with 47%, Ruto at 44%, undecided at 6%. Tell me, if these polls, we know we had one by IRS that put Ruto at 50%, but if these polls are anything to go by, does this mean that if elections are held today, there will be no clear winner because they're still undecided?
One thing you must notice is the shrinking number of undecided, almost disappearing number.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? It tells you quickly people are making up their mind. And therefore, the 6% or so is going to join the rest, because at the time of voting, there are no undecided voters. Everybody will have voted.
Yeah.
The question is, where do they vote?
But there are some who are not inclined to any coalition yet.
They are thinking about it. The undecided voter is the thinking voter. And that's why you can see the percentage points have gone up for both of them, favoring more Raila Odinga. And the remaining, if in the same proportions they go kidogo for Ruto, kidogo for Raila, Raila at the very least would hit 53. Very least, 52 and a half, 53, very least.
That means it's not going to be close.
That's not close. 53 is not close. 53 is a straight win.
With a big margin.
Yeah, big margin. 3% of the votes is good enough. But that's not how I look at it. I think there's going to be a wave. I think there's going to be a movement that will create an obvious clear winner.
Before the polling day.
Yeah. I'm not seeing this thing being too close to call. 50-50 now.
Azimio is still the preferred coalition against Kenya Kwanza, and we know UDA is the preferred party. Tell me, what role will these coalitions play in this year's election when you see Azimio is the preferred, and why is it so?
I think it's the Raila and Mother Karua name. The Mother Karua Raila ticket, that name is magic. Where there's a Baba, there is Mother. Yeah. It's magic number. Magic name.
Even though there was a poll that said Martha Karua has not made enough impact in the mountain, does that?
But these changes you are seeing, that's not true. If Martha Karua didn't make enough changes in the mountain, then Raila will not win the election.
That is the condition for Raila winning.
Yes.
Martha Karua making changes. Yes. There's also
beyond what Raila and Uhuru have done. The mother effect must translate into numbers. And indeed they will.
We'll see the numbers.
That's the wave I'm telling you.
Tell me though.
The Bradley effect is such that when you come from Nyanza and you don't like Raila, you're unlikely to talk about it in public.
Okay. And
therefore, since Mount Kenya was perceived to be a Ruto zone, there are many people who have changed. Some who didn't support Ruto, but they were suppressed. Because everybody was talking UDA, Ruto. They were suppressed. Some who are Ruto, but because of Mother, have crossed over. Now, the Raila percentage and numbers have not reached that critical mass level where people can now be free to talk about it. So you expect underground. There are people who are with Azimio, Mount Kenya region, but because they are not very free to very open, they will go and vote for Raila.
Are things changing in the mountain? Talk to me about Tuju now. He says they paid Ruto billions. Are things going to change in the mountain, or is this just politics? And people usually say, when you see the politicians politicking, just let them be, we're supporting Ruto. Are things going to change because of this?
I don't know. I'm inclined to think it wasn't even a very wise thing in the first place. Yeah. Because you trigger other things now.
Okay.
Yeah. you trigger many things. You bring many things to. I know the thinking is Ruto is this kind of person. Why is he making a lot of noise and we bought him? That thing was there. Tuju was not saying anything new.
Yeah.
We have heard it from 2013 that Ruto was bought.
Okay.
But whether it is true or not is not even the issue.
So them coming out and saying now doesn't.
I'm not seeing so much impact.
When
In fact, if they ask me, I'll tell them, stop about that.
I know you're very opinionated. That means when you say that, it means it was a wrong move.
I think
you're
so.
just avoiding
I think so.
the right words.
I don't think it was the right move.
Is it going to cost?
Because now that Uhuru is supporting Raila, does it mean Raila has bought Uhuru?
That's actually,
you invite those kind of things.
That's actually what Mudavadi asked.
Yeah, how much did Raila pay Uhuru?
Let me get that statement from Mudavadi. It's somewhere here. Mudavadi said, when Raila became the state project, was he also bought? If they're saying people are being bought, then it seems like Raila was bought. I know what you say.
That will be foolish because it's Raila who is going to State House and to be commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Kenya, defense forces. It's Raila who is going to be the CEO of this country, so it should be him to buy Uhuru. But, so I'm just, whether it's the Mudavadi way of looking at it or my way of looking at it, what Tuju says invites now this kind of thing. And now I'm saying, when you look at it critically, it wasn't wise. Yeah.
It's going to cost them. Is it going to cost them?
It will not cost them because you balance of there are people who think it's a good idea, there are those who think it's a useless idea, there are those who support it and those who don't support. So it balances itself off. Ultimately, there was no point in racing.
Are we going to have this conversation of now Mount Kenya should not support Ruto because Ruto has been claiming when Uhuru had no one, I stood with him? Are we going to have this conversation based on these allegations that he was paid, or it's just politics as usual?
You know what Tuju and the rest are saying. I know that forms a basis of conversation on the mountain. Because we have reached a stage where, I know Mount Kenya very well. We have reached a stage where now institutions are going to move from this weekend to tell the people of Mount Kenya where to go. From
this weekend?
So they are going to need things, hooks on which to hang those arguments.
Okay.
You don't just convince people, let's move to Raila and Mada Karua. You need to create hooks on which to hang. So one of the hooks is, this guy actually was bought. So the conversation then is going to be there. Look at the way he's talking about Uhuru. Look at the insults. Look at what he's saying about our son. And yet we bought him. So they are creating the hooks on which to hang the arguments.
But with us, just 8 days, 7 days to go, does this make any sense when we have this? You're saying the institution are going to come out. Will they make any impact? Just a couple of days.
In fact, they never do it before now. It's never done before now.
Why so?
That's how it is. To tell the Kikuyus, let's abandon Ngilu in 1997, it wasn't done a month before. Those days we used to be men of the world. We used to have things we were doing there, friends drinking in Thika. And we had joints, we used to go every weekend. One weekend, everything, Masani Mama, with many Kikuyu candidates on social SDP or Charity Ngilu. Then a week before we go there and we find people are not looking in our eyes. People are not looking in our eyes.
That's what is going to happen this time round.
I'm telling you. In 2007, take it from me, places like Nyeri had armies of young people supporting Raila Odinga. And those are the days when this local drink was finishing our boys. These kumi things. 10 shillings, 5 shillings in the bus. People made billions of money from that. There was an army of those kind of young people, and Mugiki was at the top. And Raila was seen to be talking to Maina Njenga, visited him in Naivasha prison. And he was a darling of those boys in the I was expecting Raila to get 30% of Mount Kenya votes. He was a darling of the Merus. But the last week, they are told no. Parents in church, they are told, go and tell your children. They are getting lost. They should not do that. And indeed, the support wasn't forthcoming for Raila.
This is why Uhuru is around now.
Even between Matiba and Kibaki in 1992, I left Nairobi. Those days I was still I was doing marking for exams. So we stopped marking exams on 23rd or 22nd of December. And I stayed in Nairobi one day before going to the village. before leaving on 23rd or thereabouts, it was Kibaki throughout up Kiambu. I was living in Kiambu then. It was Kibaki. Then I went in the village. Behind me before the elections on 27th, all this zone up to, except for Nyandarua and Nyeri, were Matiba.
Okay.
So you see what I'm saying?
Within the next couple of days?
Mount Kenya people don't make their decision too early.
How about Uhuru now?
You know, I'm not saying they will make the decision to favor Raila. They can as well make it to favor Ruto.
Yeah. Both sides must be ready for
That's
changes.
what I'm telling you, there's going to be a move and a wave, and that wave is on the mountain. And it will decide this election. In a way, there will be a clear winner.
Are we going to have the Kumera numbers this time around? Are we going to have them?
No, that is unlikely. It's most unlikely. You know, you must have something to rally people around. That is...
They're not convinced?
No. Then there's nothing to rally them around.
Then talk to me about Uhuru. He has been calling Ruto a liar throughout the week.
Yes.
In Naivasha, in Nakuru, he has been saying that. Is this going to change the narrative on the ground, or Uhuru now is...
Uhuru is targeting some people. And those people you are targeting, you must have something to tell them. One of them is, this guy is a liar. And I don't blame Uhuru. Because the things Ruto are saying, he says this today, tomorrow he says that. He's denying things he was part of a few years ago. Things he's even caught on camera. Now it changes. But I also don't blame Ruto either. He's looking for votes. And no man is static in thinking and in movement. You can change your idea on things.
Yeah.
So both of them, none of them is wrong. Uhuru is right because he wants to convince a certain constituency, especially Kikuyus. And tell them, you look here, this guy, I didn't just drop him. This guy is a liar. You can't see this. How could I have worked with a man like this?
Do you read from the same script when you hear Uhuru saying that, and you listen to Deputy President William Ruto? Is he playing politics, or is he simply a lie? It's a
Both of them are playing politics, except for Ruto. There's tangible evidence that he's full of contradictions. Tangible. That there is contradiction after contradiction in what Ruto is saying on almost everything. You look at that debate, he's talking about SGR, the disclosure. He's running away from it, yet he's running away with SGR, has been running away with SGR as one of the things they have done. We have done the SGR. Then when we tell you this SGR was overcosted, Anaruka. When you tell you have not disclosed to us, where's the secret, where's the contract? Iko happy, Anaruka.
He's going to bite him.
Yeah, you get it. When you talk about a role, his answers you can see.
Yeah.
When you talk about Gulana Kulalu, he loses speech. He becomes almost a stammerer. So, Ruto is full of contradictions.
Is that going to
and full of lies, which are evident. So if Uhuru talks about rights, he's right. But Ruto is a politician.
Yeah.
Churchill said, eating words never gave him constipation. And he ate them a little too often.
Too much.
Yeah.
Talk to me now about Rigathi Gachagua this week being asked to return 202 million by our judiciary courts on corruption. Tell me, is this going to damage them in any way? We know just a few days to go. They're now settling up some of these cases on him. So let's
start by what it could mean in a developed democracy. If this was America, that's where you need to start. What could happen? The William Ruto campaign would have collapsed.
Okay.
Yes. So Raila will be waiting to be sworn in because Ruto will stop his campaign. Because people have been talking about allegations, witch hunting, politicization. Now, none lower than the High Court of this country says you have proceeds of corruption in your account. The money came from Ministry of Lands, Nyeri County, Madera constituency, Bungoma County, etc. Na ndio hii pesa inachukuliwa sababu ni ya ukora. In another jurisdiction, you can't stand in public again. You just go home.
Okay.
So now, how about Kenya? Of course, Kenyans don't care about thieves. But you see, there are certain people who both camps are trying to convince the undecided, especially from Mount Kenya and other areas. They are undecided. Both camp is trying to convince them. This doesn't help Ruto and Rigathi. Because Mother Karua talks to you about money and you ask about how much you have. You say so much, way below $1 billion. But the following day you are in court saying you have some property worth 1.5 billion. You are fighting over it in court. Hey man, wait a moment. It's your property, yes? If it's your property, when you count things, you count including that, which somebody is trying to grab. But it's yours. This is my shirt. When you ask me what do you have, I will count this shirt. Now, even if you are in dispute, you are saying it is yours. For now, it's mine. You say you own it worth so much, and tomorrow you are in a court of law trying to say somebody wants to take something from you worth 1.5 billion. And the 5 billion Mother Karua was talking about is still there in there. And if you look at the way this, so nobody will believe you.
But for the
it spoils the image of the campaign, the Ruto Gachagua campaign. The image is destroyed. They are only lucky that the damage cannot be total because we are in Kenya, where we are used to this kind of things.
Both
but
sides.
Nevertheless, the thinking critical voter, who both camp is targeting, is unlikely. Because I've said this, as we head to the election, we must say it very categorically. This election is not about manifestos. Not even if that manifesto is a plan, or whatever you call it. This election is not about the economy. It's not about agriculture. This election is about corruption. And about the team you can believe can fight corruption. So this election is about people looking at Mother Karua and Raila Odinga, and looking at Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto, and saying, since corruption is what will kill this country, who between these people can fight corruption? That's why it is. So, to answer your question, this kind of things are damaging the...
I'm asking people like you who look at these things.
Yes.
Do people like you vote, or you just stay home and...
I've already explained that point. I've told you a majority of the voters anywhere in the world are always decided on flimsy and primitive and trivial considerations like ethnicity and belonging together. We are Catholics, or we are what? We are Luyas in this country, we are Kikuyu. It's primitive, primordial kind of things. But that leaves a percentage of voters that then help decide the election. So when you go like for a debate, that's why I laugh when people say Gachagua won. How could you win and you are addressing the people you already have? Those cheering you, already yours. Mother Karua is targeting those who have not decided, and they are thinking. So things like what is happening to Gachagua now affect these constituents you are targeting, the undecided. And if they are saying, let's say they're about 2 million, and all of them are going to vote, you can bet Raila will get 1.5 out of them. The other side gets 500, or gets 1.7, you get 300. Hasn't the election been decided in Raila's favor because of these things?
So it's central and the undecided who are critical thinkers. Thank you so much for tuning in into our conversation for today. These conversations, I hope, will help us make informed decisions even as we're progressing towards this year's polls. Until we talk again, I'm Gerald Kabiro.
But before you go, once again, please subscribe. Tomorrow we have a live show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tune in to Gerald Kabiro Live on Monday. Let's talk then. Good night for now.